The forest swallowed Leo whole. One moment he was chasing a butterfly near the campsite, the next, the towering pines and thick undergrowth had erased the familiar path back to his parents' tent. Panic, cold and sharp, pricked his small chest. He called out, "Mama, Papa," but only the rustle of leaves and the distant caw of a crow answered. Tears welled, blurring the dappled sunlight into a confusing mosaic of green and brown. He stumbled deeper, the ground uneven beneath his worn sneakers, the air growing cooler and smelling of damp earth and decaying wood. Leo nodded, inching closer. You sick?" he whispered, noticing the sheen of sweat on the man's brow and the way he shivered. Despite the mild evening air, the man, Silas, managed a weak smile. Just a bit weary, son." Then walking a long time, he patted the ground beside him. "Best not be alone out here when the dark comes. Sit." Leo, feeling a strange sense of responsibility for this frail figure, sat down, pulling his knees to his chest. The forest sound seemed louder now, more menacing. Night fell like a heavy blanket. The temperature dropped, and Silas's shivering worsened. His breathing became labored, each inhale a struggle. Leo watched, wide-eyed with a fear deeper than his own. He remembered his mother putting a blanket on him when he was cold. He took off his small, red jacket, his favorite one with the dinosaur on the pocket, and carefully draped it over Silas's thin frame. The old man murmured something unintelligible, but his trembling seemed to lessen slightly. Thirst became a pressing need for both of them. Leo spotted large, dew-kissed leaves on a nearby fern, remembering how he'd cupped his hands under the garden hose. He carefully gathered the cool water in his small palms and brought it to Silas's cracked lips. The old man sipped weakly, managing a faint, grateful nod. Then Leo drank some himself, the water tasting of earth and green life, refreshing his dry throat. Silas drifted into a fitful sleep, punctuated by coughs that shook his frail body. Leo stayed close, the darkness pressing in, filled with unfamiliar rustles and hoots. He remembered a story his dad told about stars being guides. He looked up through the canopy, finding the bright pinpricks of light. "Find North Star," he whispered to himself, trying to recall the shape of the Big Dipper his dad had pointed out. It offered a small anchor in the overwhelming dark. As the night wore on, Silas's condition seemed to worsen. He grew quieter, his breathing shallow and alarmingly slow. Leo felt a surge of desperate protectiveness. He gathered armfuls of soft, green moss, piling it carefully around Silas's head and shoulders, like a primitive pillow and blanket, hoping it might offer some warmth and comfort. He patted the moss gently. "You stay," he murmured, more to himself than the unconscious man. "I watch." Dawn arrived, gray and misty. Silas was barely responsive. Leo knew he couldn't wait. He remembered the North Star. He looked up, finding the fading constellation. "That way," he decided, pointing. He squeezed Silas's cold hand. "I get help, I promise." Leaving the jacket and the moss nest, Leo took a deep, shaky breath and stepped out of the clearing, following the direction he believed led north, towards where he hoped the campsite and help might be.